In this video, we're going to talk about using AdWords, tracking AdWords, and actually figuring out if you're making any money.
You play to win the game. Hello?
You will not win, cause I will not lose. Can't be touched.
Hey guys, so I want to talk a little bit about, really AdWords, and so many people look at AdWords and view AdWords and don't have a great feel for what it is they're looking at. I think that's fair to say. And, I put together a spreadsheet that we use and I look at every month, and, we decided back in essentially June, July of 2016 that we were going to let our AdWords, right? We were going to make our budget essentially unlimited. Now we had some time periods in which we weren't going to advertise. I mean, it wasn't truly unlimited, but in the times and the spaces that we were willing to advertise, it was essentially going to be unlimited. Now, with that being said, I think one of the things you need to determine is whether you're converting or not. So we were converting at a pretty high clip. We were pretty consistently making money. Doing AdWords with essentially a max ad spend of about $300, and we decided that let's unlimit this thing, because what I don't think is going to happen, if I increase the spend, I believe I'm going to get the same quality of lead that I'm already getting. I'm just going to get it at an unlimited amount, right? And so for us, our ad spend went from like $300, to on average about $874, which means I was going to get about 3 times more leads, and I was pretty convinced that my conversion rate was going to still be essentially, we hover between 20-25%. And if my conversion rate hovered still between 20 and 25%, and I was making money at $300 ad spend, made perfect sense to me that, I was going to make more money by allowing the ad spend to go up. So that's what we did, and I don't know if that makes complete sense to you guys listening, but reach out to me and I can explain it in more depth. But so basically the way we use this spreadsheet, and I'll kind of walk you through it. Basically, what ends up happening is, right, and let's use January of 2016. So we'll use this, right? So I always look at AdWords and say there's a management fee associated with it, regardless of who is managing it. Whether it's an actual management company, so there's companies out there that all they really do is manage pay-per-click advertising or internet advertising. Most of those fees for management are going to be $1,000, certainly north of 500, and that's just to essentially run your AdWords campaign. It does not include the actual clicks or the actual spend with Google, right? So that's where we say ad spend. And I look at this management and say, whether I'm doing it, and we use Kukui, so we use Kukui for our website. Kukui obviously also manages our AdWords campaign, right? I put a $500 expense, and I even do that on our profit and loss statement. On our monthly profit and loss statement, it says AdWords campaign. I contribute $500 of my Kukui expense to running the AdWords campaign. I also put in there the $282, or excuse me, for the month of January, the $271. So basically, the way I look at this, I say $771 was associated with running our AdWords. You can make this 0, you can change this, you can look at this however you want. I just look at it and I say, what's the true spend? What would this cost me if I didn't have Kukui doing it and I had someone else doing it? It's going to be a minimum of 500. So basically, when we go through this, I say, I know, based on some of the tracking things that we use tracking numbers for our AdWords campaign. We are pretty religious about following up on this and making sure we have all of the correct numbers. In the month of January, we produced 4 new customers, and I never look at previous customers, right? I don't. If they clicked on my AdWords campaign, that was a mistake, and we weren't doing enough retention marketing that they have to go out onto the website and find us. And people click that for all sorts of reasons. Maybe they were already trying to find us, and it was the first thing on the page. But I never look at previous customers when I'm assessing AdWords campaigns, right? So I know in the month of January you picked up 4 new customers. The revenue from those 4 new customers was essentially, we'll call it $3,200, right? I know that, and for every shop this is different, but my gross profit after a 55% expense for parts and labor cost, right? And by labor I mean my service advisor, my team of service advisors, my team of technicians, and then my parts cost, right? And really, I'm saying 30% of my sale goes to service advisors and technicians, and then my parts cost is going to be, we don't run at 25%, but I'm going to estimate pretty conservatively and say it is 25%, which comes up with a 55% cost, which means I'm keeping 45% of this $1,452, right? Or excuse me, of this $3,200. So 45% of this $3,200 is $1,452, right? Does that make sense? So there's my equation, right? The $3,200 multiplied by the 0.45. So now that's what I make now. The advertising campaign cost me, right, $571, or excuse me, $771, which is, so basically what ends up happening is I take the 1452, right, which is, my 0.45% remaining. I subtract the $500 management fee. I subtract the ad spend fee, and I come up with a number of, $681. So in the month of January, I put $681 in my pocket by running Google AdWords. Right? That's because here's the deal, right? Everything that's south of on the profit and loss statement, south of this gross profit, I'm already profitable, right? So anything that I make above and beyond is money that goes directly into my pocket as the owner. So I essentially saw $681 come down to, depends on how you look at this and how you get into this, come down to my net income, right? Obviously there's taxes associated with this, all sorts of things, but for the simplicity, we'll say the profit after advertising spend was $681. So what I ended up doing in July, we ended up saying, like I said, let's go unlimited. So for the first 6 months, where I had a cap of essentially $300, I think it was $400, I ended up making, on average, $276 in profit per month. Not bad. I'll take it. And here's what ends up happening, guys. So everyone looks at this, and that's $276, right? So I invested money on Google AdWords. I accounted for getting that money back, and I had $276 per month to put into my pocket, right? That's a couple good dinners. I don't know. You can do all sorts of things with $276, and that's from people who had exclusively never been to my shop before. These customers, right? All of these 27 people over those 6 months also have a ongoing lifetime value to the business. So they should never click my AdWords campaign again. I should be able to, you use my retention marketing program to get these people to come back. And on average, it's different at all sorts of shops, but each one of these 5 customers per month might be worth $3,000 per customer to me, which is an additional $15,000 a year in revenue by picking up these 5 new customers, right? You got to figure that math out, and that's different at each shop. So that's not the point of this video either. So I ended up, saying let's go unlimited, and you can see right here, average profit per month when I capped it out at $400 was $276. Now, when I went unlimited, my average profit per month was $726. Okay, following the same exact math, I also picked up 9 new customers. If we did each customer is worth $3,000 per year, or excuse me, I said per year, I meant lifetime spend, right? Up here, this one's worth $3,000 lifetime spend. That's an additional $15,000. Here, they're worth the same amount, $3,000. That's an additional $27,000. So my return is enormous, right? But we won't even factor that in. I literally was putting an additional $726 in my pocket per month, or really, it's an additional $500 per month, right? That's huge. Now, did I spend more per month? I did. So was my return lower as a percentage? Yes, it was. I mean, there's no doubt about it. My return was lower as a percentage. I'm not interested in percentages when I'm talking about this. I'm interested in gross dollars. So I hope this video at least sparks some interest. I hope it gives you some some different ways to think about this. But you know if you can convert, and if you can't convert, that's a whole different video, a whole different conversation, a whole different topic. But if you can convert on AdWords, and you can look at your AdWords campaign and say, man, I'm converting at a decent percentage, there's no reason to think that if you upped the amount you spend on advertising, right, on the clicks, there's no reason to think that you shouldn't continue to make more and more money as you're doing this, right? Does your return as a percentage go down? It does. But what do you care about? You care about dollars in your pocket. So, so essentially what ended up happening was over a 6-month period, I ended up taking in an additional $2,700. If I compare this 6-month period to this 6-month period, I took an additional $2,700 and or $450 a month, right? And that's just, this. That's just my actual additional profit divided by the 6 months, right? So I think we all can find things to do with an additional $450 a month. So tell me what you guys think. Let me know if this video was helpful. I can provide this spreadsheet to anybody, and I can clean it up and put, where the inputs should go. But this has been a huge profit center for us. Let me know what you guys think.